Thank you all for joining us today. To our sponsor for today's podcast, Safe Haven Defense, preserving property, protecting lives, providing peace of mind. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Centurion's Path. We are excited to be back. It's been a little while. AJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good, John. How you doing?
I'm good. You've been traveling everywhere.
Actually, I've been home for the last week and a half, which has been a wonderful thing for the end of summer. Although it was hot as heck, but it's cooled off now here in Colorado, which is kind of nice.
Nice.
Got a lot of rain last week, which was good.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to come back to Colorado in October, so I'm looking forward to seeing you and Mike and hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it'll be good. Hopefully we can schedule that around a CU football game, get you back up into the stadium. But if that doesn't work out, that's okay. But the offer's there. So
I appreciate it. Definitely want to make that happen.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a brand new guest. Well, we have a brand new co-host with us. So we're going to add Mike Touchton, who's been on a few episodes. Welcome, Mike, to Centurion's Path, from a guest to a co-host now.
Oh, thanks, John. I had so much fun the first couple of times that you had us. I'm honored for sure to come today. I came a little bit poorly dressed, but I'm wearing a T-shirt today to honor Dylan Vakoff. He was killed in Arvada Police Department on a call for service September 11th, 2022, and I thought it was good to wear his shirt today. On my inaugural hangout with you guys as an official guest host. Certainly the first two times here were fantastic experiences. Per Carl Ballard, I need to have a pod. So I got a little pod built up here, and hopefully the cast comes well.
Right? You're going to be great. AJ and I get a little too serious, and we thought we needed someone with levity and somebody can make us laugh. And, you're the goofiest guy we know. So we thought, hey, what do you?
Carl's the goofiest guy we know, but Mike definitely has a good sense of humor. He has a way of calming the waters a little bit when you jump off the cliff. So, yeah.
It's all good. We're excited to have you. We have a really special guest today, something different. We talked to a lot of first responders. We talked to a lot of people in the school safety space. But what we haven't done is really talk to somebody that's in the business world space, who's a leader in business and a philanthropist. And I want to introduce everybody to Tony Sansone. Tony, welcome to the Centurion's Path podcast.
Well, thanks very much, John. Very happy to be here.
You have been in the private equity real estate business for a lot of years. Talk about your background and what you do, and tell us what you do.
I've been in the my core business and space is real estate development, and I've been in the business since I was 21 years old, and I'm now 67, so quite some time. Still, there's a lot I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a tough industry, but it's a great industry, and it's a wonderful industry to having been part of my father's company that he started back in 1957, a family-owned operation, the Sansone Group, still around today. Very proud to say, and my brothers are three younger brothers are running that now and doing a great job. I still maintain an interest in it, but not an active participant in the family business as they are. My father, who had passed away just April 27th of 2020, had maintained the chairman position until the day he passed. So, in fact, he was on a call with us that morning of his passing, and still under the old mantra, you have to eat and sleep your business in order to be successful. And he certainly did that and showed us the way and paved the way. So that's where I really cut my teeth. And I was happy to be mentored by a wonderful man who I call friend and father. And since that time, I had always been involved in a variety of different businesses. Once again, Our dad always suggested that never put all eggs in one basket, and diversification was a good thing in business. And so I was always in other types of industries and businesses and investments and things of that sort. And happy to note that I was married for 19 years to an incredible woman, the mother of 7 beautiful kids, 5 daughters and 2 sons. And unfortunately, she passed away in 2001, which we'll certainly get to later. But wonderful life, wonderful woman, great matriarch of our family, and brought us beautiful children, and now 16 grandchildren. I'll say the last one.
Wow.
Most recent one was last week. Little Sal Michael was born, and very, very pleased. And
well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And as I said, I've diversified my investments, and I've been blessed with a successful business enterprise, and had the opportunity to not only work with 2 of my sons, which have launched their own businesses and doing remarkably well, but 2 of my daughters as well, and one who currently is working with me under our ValorNet concept. So I'm a very fortunate father, very fortunate grandfather, and blessed to have wonderful parents and an endearing wife who I think about regularly.
Tony, you at some point decided to develop a brand new program called ValorNet.
Yes.
And you mentioned it just a minute ago, but ValorNet is a tool that now is helping first responders, helping military people, and soon to be helping kids. Can you talk about what ValorNet is and just talk to us about why you decided to build this thing?
So, I decided to build it, John, and it's a great question with much capacity there in the question, and I'll try to do it in a summary form. But I had, when my just to establish this, I know AJ and John, you're aware of it. My wife had taken her life back in May 2nd of 2001, and it was very sudden. Certainly not anything that was expected. And but as they say, when you have that moment or that split second of uncontrollability, they use the word insanity. I don't like using that word. It's fairly harsh and not comforting in any form. But she had taken her life, and the doctors and practitioners and all of the therapists and clinicians say that it's just that second. It wasn't planned. It wasn't premeditated. There were no notes or anything like that. It was just, she was fraught with, she had severe depression with a level of, with psychotic tendencies. That was how the diagnosis, and it happened quite rapidly. There was some childhood trauma that contributed to this suicide, and Peggy was successful that morning of May 2nd in 2001. Since that time, I had always felt, along with my children, that we needed to do something, and we established a foundation in conjunction with one of our major institutions, our hospitals, the Psychiatric Center at Washington University, in conjunction with a dear friend and the executive director and a foremost doctor in the field of psychiatry and psychology, C. Robert Cloninger. And we established a research and development program there, endowed that in perpetuity, and they've done a great job of research. But, John, there was always a but to everything. It wasn't something that I felt satisfied the quest to really do something about the enduring pain and suffering and the duress that goes into not only the person that is doing the suffering, but also those that are victimized by it. And great stigma with suicide, a great stigma to really keep it, if you will, under the radar and stay under the covers. And when I say we, my children, myself, didn't want to do any of that. We came full disclosure. We opened up, as they would say, the kimono and expressed and showed it all. Did not want to continue the journey without trying to at least making an effort to make a difference. Hence, ValorNet, which is a resiliency, health, and wellness, well-being app that was established some 4.5 years ago with people a lot smarter than I am, tech savvy, wonderful developers, and people that really individuals that really shared the same spirit that I and my family do. And hence the discovery, the establishment of ValorNet. And the purpose was to not only destigmatize, but also to save lives, and the lives that are going through this suffering, to minimize the suffering, to try to eradicate the suffering, to provide tools that you could still maintain your dignity and the courage to admit in a very confidential, anonymous factor and way. And we're continuing to evolve and revolutionize our application and our business journey, which is now a little over 4.5 years old, or I should say young. So the impetus was my beautiful wife, Peggy, and I happen to have been aligned with some tremendous individuals that share the same passion that we do. And that's how we started it, and how we hope to continue in perpetuity.
You and I had a dinner a few months ago, and at the dinner, we went around the table and just had a conversation with everybody at the table about who had an immediate person in their life complete suicide. And every single person at that table, and I think there were 14 of us that night, every single person had somebody in their life that had committed suicide.
Yeah, John, I remember the moment. I remember the day, the table arrangement, exactly who was sitting next to who, because I was so impacted by that. That was not a staged question by you at all. It was extemporaneous, and the reaction was what was startling. I had no idea, even with the pain and suffering that we endured, that those 12 people not only were victimized by it, but those that mentioned were a spouse, siblings, sons and daughters, and a nephew. Yeah. That close. And it was what a remarkable moment of discovery, of spiritual closeness, if you will. And it really kind of tells you how, unfortunately, prevalent and how prevailing this is. I was just reading something the other day where 50% of the suicide attempts are successful. You don't often hear that, and we hear about the PTSD and some of the other issues, but I don't think it's heightened to the degree it should be, and the amount of pain and suffering that is occurring that really we don't have answers for. And I know we're all in this together in the journey to try to come up with tools and methods and other forms of approaches and strategies. And we looked at what can we do a little bit differently, and what can we do that's somewhat unique, but still maintains the character, the anonymity. And that's, we've come up with the ValorNet app, John. But yeah, it was a remarkable moment and an event I'll never forget.
No. We have a ValorNet video that we want to show and give everybody a chance to see what their product is. We'll be right back.
Relentless, resilient, formidable. The standard set by those who serve and protect. And when the pressure's high, they don't flinch. They execute. But even the best trained forces require infrastructure to sustain performance. Resilience doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. Operational demands are rising. Recruitment is harder. Retention is tougher. Many unseen threats can erode unit readiness from within. Your people are your greatest asset. Our mission is to help you protect them, because sustained performance starts with sustained support. ValorNet is the modern infrastructure for human performance and organizational health. A fully integrated platform designed to strengthen the mind, body, and team. With ValorNet, you can proactively support the total wellness of those who dedicate themselves to keeping others safe by providing them with personalized dashboards to monitor physical health, nutrition, sleep, and mental resilience. AI-driven fitness tools and custom training plans adaptable to individual or unit needs. Integrated mental health screeners for early insight and proactive care. On-demand telemedicine and crisis lines staffed by licensed professionals. Encrypted messaging and secure video, enabling fast, private communication. Administrative tools for scheduling, directories, and operational updates. Delivered with end-to-end privacy, zero tracking, and zero usage of any personally identifiable information. Infinitely scalable, easily deployable, completely confidential. ValorNet delivers a bespoke solution, fully personalized to your organization and seamlessly integrated into your workflow, giving you unified teams, resilient culture, loyalty that lasts. All powered by leadership equipped to strengthen the force and address challenges before they arise. Trusted by agencies that refuse to wait for a crisis. ValorNet is redefining how leadership invests in its people. What supports your people strengthens your mission. ValorNet. Stay in the fight.
So one of the things that I've noticed about the ValorNet app is that there's a lot to it, which includes things like wellness and physical health and diet, and it helps people manage and track and understand how all of this impacts. How did you come up with, I guess, or what was the reasoning behind adding all those components to this?
Well, you're right. The utility that we have, it's second to none. I think we're again, this is me advocating for it, but we've looked at enough, we've researched enough, and both nationally, internationally, globally, and we think we have the best app on the market, and we're continuing to refine it. We have an incredible development team. We have a strong tech leadership. All of that, health and wellness, sleep, impairment, everything comes into the faces of those that have some form of emotional setback, illness, depression, distress, whatever it might be. And we're just trying to use, as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to implement the utilities and the tools to create just if you will, John, a better moment in time where there's ways that we can address our own well-being. And we feel we have continued to attempt to integrate the necessary tools because it all works together. The brain is a very unique feature, and the health aspect of it, the what we take into our bodies, how we utilize our bodies, and how the mind works. We're attempting to be on the cutting edge of everything. And again, we have a strong, substantial team, fully integrated with doctors and clinicians and professors and research teams and development groups. And it takes an absolute team to put something like this together. But it's a daily test, and measures are ongoing, and we hope to at least we've already saved one life, and we hope that it continues to make lives better on a daily basis.
If people wanted the ValorNet app, they can go on to the app store. Is that how they would find it?
Indeed.
Okay.
Now, Tony, we had the opportunity to sit down and break bread together back in July, and opportunity to share a cigar. Remember what I said about a cigar, right? A cigar is a commitment. It's a commitment to time and fraternity.
I love that. Yeah.
But you were talking about some of the institutions and organizations that have already started to use Valor app across their network. And can you mention some of those or those?
Yeah, I can mention. I can't mention the pilot programs that we're under, but I certainly can talk about the Missouri firefighters that we are under contract with officially, and there's many others that we are under pilot programs with, and some that we are engaged in. We are currently, AJ, engaged in contract negotiation with. But as I hadn't mentioned this, but our app, AJ, is based upon the Army Health and Holistic Fitness model, and so with that, we're involved in military in many ways. And again, this is something that is very much our focus, the military, the first responders, but we're also very involved in K through 12 and the educational format. And unfortunately, with what occurred in Wisconsin, that's a challenging journey. And we have to have the means to create the necessary tools for these youngsters and their parents to also be part of this, if you will. We have features where they can be part of the app process here, and everyone is touched one way or another. And unfortunately, it seems like it's even more. Has intensified itself that much more in this current state that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially post-COVID, when we start to talk about our kids and some of that.
You certainly have seen a lot more than I have, unfortunately.
Tony, it's great to see you again. And I just want to say, I remember our time together fondly. You're a great ambassador for the city of St. Louis. I was blown away by how much you knew about the city and how proud of you, of the city you were, and to show all the visitors there. And once again, just took us under your wing a little bit, and it was great spending time with you. When you talk about putting together your team, one of my takeaways from our conversations was your leadership, and how proud of you, of the people around you that you were. And you spoke about, how do I lead these people? Can you talk about the people that you have on board that are helping you fulfill this passion?
Yeah, I certainly can. I can. And thanks for mentioning that. And yes, I am indeed proud of St. Louis, born and raised here, and my entire family is still here. And we have a big family, both immediate and extended. We're well over 100 in the community, and the community's been very good to us. So I'm very, very proud of St. Louis and where we're going and how we are leadership, and we have the leadership in the Midwest. But my leadership, our team at ValorNet and the leadership, we have within our hierarchy, we have those that have suffered, that continue to suffer. that lived a very profound and successful life in their business careers, but they have that moment of darkness, and they're not afraid to express it. And these people, I wish to that will remain nameless, but you know some of who they are. But I would say that of our leadership team, 75% have some form of emotional concerns and trepidation. But they understand it, they appreciate it, they acknowledge it, and they're doing everything they can to make a contribution to offset pain and suffering that so many others are fraught with. So it's more than just, and I share this very honestly. It is a for-profit venture. Not all of it is altruistic, but I will tell you the passion and the commitment is real. And there is nothing more important in my life than this ValorNet. And what we're attempting to do if I can, maybe it's overstating, I don't think so, to reshape the world. And we're doing it little by little, piece by piece. But our journey is far from over. And it is not only a commitment, but as my father would often say, it's an obligation. And that's we're simply trying to make life better.
It's honorable. We often talk about the role of and the importance of protecting those that can't protect themselves. I think this is just one more layer of that, right? It's one more step in that process of trying to provide that help and hope to those that desperately need it. I do have a question. You talked about, the stigma and the choice that you and your kids made to be open about what happened with your wife. How difficult was that decision to say, we're not going to be quiet, we're not going to hide this, we're going to be open about this?
John, just a great question. It was very difficult, especially when my youngest was 2 and my oldest was 17 years old. It was very tough. In fact, the 2-year-old had not known how she actually passed away, and I made it a point to tell her on my own. And to this day, that 2-year-old is now 27 years old, is the apple of my eye, and has, even though she doesn't have the strong remembrance of her mother, she does know that what she had done as a little girl and what she acknowledged and what she recognized, she now has groomed herself to be not only an incredible advocate for mental well-being, but how she is raising her own child and the parental guidelines and what she's done in her own life from a leadership standpoint and the difference she has made for those that she surrounds herself with. It's remarkable. And all I will say, every one of my 5 daughters, my 2 sons, they're advocates. They speak about it, openly about it. But John, yes, it was very difficult. It was a situation to where when it occurred, and it occurred at home, and my wife took her life by hanging herself. And I had walked in on her when it had occurred, and it was a most deafening scene. But it was one where I looked at it, and not looked at my wife. It's never referenced in that term. She will always be my wife. And I thought at that particular moment, John, that, my God, Peggy, was it this bad? And it was such a level of desperation when you see that you can't really come to the moment of grips of how awful and desperate and dark the moment was. But in taking the body from the home, out of the home, my son showed up behind me, the 16-year-old, my second youngest. I didn't see him. And all I remember in my ear, Dad, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. At that moment, I said, this legacy will be positive. It will be bright. We're not going to hide behind anything. We're going to take it head on, and we're going to take it as a family unit with love, unconditionally. But we're going to express the candid truth, because no way would my wife ever wish for anyone else to suffer, and did not expect me to stand down, and always knew that I was her leader, and I was going to do what I had to do the right thing. And in her honor, I said to every one of those kids, your mother would want us to stand up, be accountable, be truthful, be candid, and make a difference. And we're not going to hide behind it. And the first thing we did, we established a foundation, the Peggy Sansone Special Angel Foundation, and we had a gala. And we had over 850 show up for this gala. And every one of my children gave a testimony and the truth. Didn't hide behind it, didn't soften the blow. It was what it, and you know what, John, in all truthfulness, there was aftermath. You can well imagine there were rumors, there was hearsay, this and that. 7 children, postpartum, all that. None of that was accurate. But there was that darkness. That was what was accurate. And there was a mother, a beautiful mother, a great wife of 19 years that took her life in a tragic manner. So was it difficult? Yes. But was it the best thing we could have done? And was it incredibly comforting today to know that each one of my kids can stand up on their own and be counted for, and still make a difference, and have the legacy of their mother be a positive one, because each and every one of them are making a difference. My hat's off to them.
It's powerful. It's incredibly powerful.
Yes, it is. You just sit here. It's the second time I've heard that. And you just kind of sit here in awe in everything that you're getting accomplished and what you're doing, and how you stood strong and empowered your kids, kept them moving forward. It's a remarkable story. Thanks for sharing that, Tony.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
AJ, I'm reminded, we do a program, AJ and I do a program called Dark Nights of the Soul. And it's based off of the book. But, the premise of it is for, every tragedy, there is light on the other side. There's something positive that comes out of darkness and tragedy. And I think you certainly model that and live that. And it's a perfect example of what we try to share, that not all trauma, not all darkness, not all tragedy has to be tragedy forever. Something positive can come out of it if you make it so.
Yes, sir. I sure agreed with that. No doubt about it. So you certainly have done that.
Well, AJ and Mike, I think, have modeled that for their entire careers. I just kind of hang on to them, but it's incredibly powerful stuff. So, what do you do when you're not working and not creating ValorNet? What do you do for fun that you?
Well, I have I was talking to AJ about this, and Mike, I don't know if the audience knows, but they're in. I'm not going to exclude you, John, but they're in tip-top condition. So, with a haircut, John, you're in tip-top. You just need it. But no, I work out regularly, and I'm a fairly active guy. I play regular golf, and I play squash, and I swim, and I work out with the weights, and so I'm doing something 6 out of 7 days a week. I swim, and so I've always done that. My father always believed in physical activity and maintaining your body, and treating it like a temple, and try to do the right thing and eat the right things. But I enjoy I enjoy going out. I'm a foodie, and I like good wine. Italian wines more than most wines. The Nebbiolo grapes is good. But I don't change myself on life. I have a lot of hobbies. I like to travel, and in fact, I love my homeland in Sicily. I'm going to be in Trapani for the last 3 weeks in October, which is a provincia of Palermo there. So I enjoy the fruits of the labor.
Good for you. I used to joke, Tony.
I babysit a grandson or two, but after this weekend, I think that's out. They don't breathe too well.
They take after their grandpa.
I know. I can't intimidate them, AJ. I used to be able to be good at that. Doesn't work.
That's funny.
Well, they're raised right. They have a mind of their own. That's a good thing.
That's for sure. You're right.
Yeah.
I used to joke with AJ and Mike that, I want my SWAT guys looking like them, not like me. If they look like me, we got problems.
I'll tell you one thing. They look pretty good. I don't want to mess with them. That's for damn sure.
You still perform, though. You still
Former
perform.
action guys.
Yeah, right.
Former action guys.
I'm a former action guy for sure. Right? But, I'll tell you, the first time John and I don't know if it was the first time we met. Maybe it was the first time we met. And I don't know if we shared this story with you, Tony, or not, but it was a SWAT training, and we had the opportunity to do a bunch of training decommissioning. So we got to break a lot of stuff. So, boy, I put John to work. He was porting tool. He had a port tool, and he was breaking windows, and he had flashbangs going off around him. And he looked at me, and he's like, I'm sweating. I'm hot. I'm bleeding. And I looked out to John, if we ain't bleeding, we ain't training, right? So he got indoctrinated into the SWAT world right there.
That was great.
Good day.
Yeah, that was the first day I met you. Yeah.
I remember his helmet being a little bit askew.
Yeah. I was looking like Beetle Bailey.
We had to straighten that thing up and get him looking right. And I tell you what, you dress for the job you want.
Right.
And you were there.
Yeah. I'll be there. I'm just slow. But I'll be there.
They weren't easy on you, huh, John?
No, not at all.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I had the only thing that saved me was I had 7 years in the Army. They gave me a little bit of tactics that I didn't look stupid. So I was pleased with that. But that was a good day, good memory. Absolutely.
It was a great memory. And, for me, it was important. Here's this guy that's given us a school to go train to save lives in a real world environment, actually get to break stuff and do it like it would be real world. And to me, it was trying to give him a gift back, to let him go do a little bit of that, to throw in his memory bank, and but to experience some of that, so it was kind of a gift I was giving back to him. And I think he liked it. After his wounds healed, then I think he liked it. In the moment, he was looking at me with the evil eye, but
it was one of the great honors of my life, frankly. And because I understood and I knew what that meant when you gave me your M4 and, to use for the training, I knew exactly what an honor that was. And that day, look at where we're at all these years later. Here we are today, and it's with you and Mike, it's been the friendships of a lifetime. You don't find that. I mean, you got to earn that and build on that. Tony, we talk a lot about the fact that trust is hard earned and harder to keep.
Well, and sure
surround yourself with those that you can trust and that you're loyal to them and they're loyal to you. And that means a lot. And you and AJ are both, Italian. So you're all about loyalty anyway. That's a whole cultural thing.
It brings me back to something you just mentioned. My grandfather, who was immigrated from Sicily, on his would often say, he would pick up, and he had mighty hands like catcher's mitt. He would pick up his right hand and he would say, "Sonny boy, if you die and you can count off in your fingers that many friends, you died a very, very lucky, wealthy man." And when you think about it, I don't think I have five. So like you said, John, the AJ and Mike, and you have two right there, and that's a pretty special guy.
Yeah.
So consider yourself fortunate.
I'm a blessed man. There's no question about it.
Yeah, it's not commonplace. That's for certain.
Yeah, I think we're all blessed in that manner for sure.
Yeah.
John, I was thinking a little bit about you, and I wanted to bring this up because you do so much and for so many, and with the education, and I one remarkable statistic, and I try not to get caught up in the stats, but that suicide amongst 10-year-olds to 24-year-olds is the second leading cause of death. And when you think about that, second leading cause of death of children 10 to young adults at 24, my gosh, I mean, it's like, if that doesn't get your attention, nothing will. And based upon that, the educational aspect of our app, again, not for an advertisement of our app, but we have an incredible, accomplished doctor, Harvard educator, Dr. Jennifer Wortham, that is leading our educational program, and just remarkable work that she's done. And we're continuing to try to defy these statistics. And but I know, John, in what you've seen and what you've experienced in your world, it has to be I should ask this question: what do you do from a therapeutic standpoint to comfort yourself, given all that you see and the work that you do?
Well, for me, two of those people are right here on the podcast, Mike and AJ. We have a very small group of us, Mike, AJ, myself, Frank DeAngelis, Dr. John Nicoletti. Frank DeAngelis, our retired principal from Columbine, Brian Krause. There's a group of us that have been through a lot together and have lived a life of preparedness and response and recovery. And there's nothing better when you're having a rough day than reaching out to them. And it's important that it's funny though, what we typically find is that it's not necessarily me reaching out to them, but they know me well enough to know that they need to reach out to me, and we're checking on each other a lot. There's a lot of check-in of just, how you doing? What are you doing? How you feeling? It is the most amazing peer support group out there. And it was not intentional. It was just circumstance. And we all live and work in a small community for 30 years that's experienced real tragedy, from Columbine to Black Canyon High School to Deer Creek Middle School to kidnapping of a beautiful little 10-year-old girl and her homicide, to many other things. We've all been there together, and or we've been there in the aftermath, and you're supporting each other. There's nothing like it. I've never seen any. Maybe there are other groups out there. I'm sure there are, but it's a special brotherhood. And I think I wish everybody had that in their life. For me, that's really what, on some pretty dark days, I know who I can reach out to, and I can call and talk to these guys and be with them. And boy, it's a spiritual uplift. They're not afraid of calling me out, or they beat on me like my own brother did. So it's a good life, and it's something that's pretty special. So, that's at least from my perspective. AJ and Mike may have a different thought.
I'll speak for myself a little bit. I'll tell you what, I was a fairly new cop, and there wasn't a lot of conversation about it. How do you manage it? What does it mean to have something impact you in that manner? Till after Platte Canyon, we had that meeting with John Nicoletti, and he talked about how does a brain work after one of those instances, and what can you look for? And certainly it was a shared impact for the team, and how important it was to watch each other and see how are we going to get through this. I will tell you, AJ modeled a positive response to it, and how do we understand it, put it where it belongs, and then work through it and have common positive outcomes from it. And how do we build a positive outcome from tragedy? And it made you very introspective and thinking about how your own brain works and how you responded to all the things that happened up to that point. And I thought it was amazing just to have those conversations about what it means. And certainly not everybody's going to react the same way, because everybody brings their own load that they've been carrying their whole life. And then they have that tipping point. How do we stay away from the tipping point and make sure that, to Tony's point, how are we victors through this and not victims of circumstances in our lives that we don't have control over? But how do we mitigate the damage? And certainly knowing the people in this group as well as I do, and giving myself up to you as well, so that you have that influence on me is very important. And it's breaking down those walls of, I'm just going to do it myself without even knowing what you're doing, right?
Yeah. I would say just, kind of echo off both those things, that whenever we're together, we always say it's good for our soul. Shared experiences help with kind of moving down the right path. Sometimes it's hard to know what that path is. But for me, it's kind of a full thing for me, a little bit like you, Tony, right? You stay active. I think physical activity, physical fitness is huge. It releases all those positive chemicals, right, and helps get rid of the bad ones. And then having that support system that is there. And Mike said it. You can try to model things, you can do things, but everybody needs something a little bit different. That's what's cool when I look at the app that you have, is you have different things that you can kind of lean on. And then certain people are just going to get stuck, and that's hard. It's hard to find a way to unstick them. John mentioned the book by Thomas More, Dark Nights of the Soul, and it's a powerful read where, we all go through these crises and or crises, and finding just something to focus on to get us through that. Right. And, some people are going to jump on board and want to be a part of it. Some people aren't. And, you can't judge people for that. But to make something positive come from these terrible things. And, I watched a lot of my buddies take different routes and be angry and bitter. And, it's hard to be around that. It's hard to live in that bitterness of all of this, rather than saying, okay, this is what we went through. We have an opportunity here. You don't really know what it is right there, moment in time, but you stay positive and you keep looking for that light, and eventually you find it, and you pull yourself out of this, and maybe pull your buddies out of it, and maybe pull a community out of it, and maybe pull a state and country, and sometimes the world, like you said, right? To be a little bit better in handling these things. So, yeah, I keep myself busy doing all kinds of other things, though, right? I'm a big hunter. I make wooden vases, which I'm going to make one for you, Tony. I'm going to send it to you on the lathe, right? And just with my buddy Mickey here a little bit ago, got a bunch more blanks. I'm going to make some bowls here and make my own wine. Hold tight to the Italian culture and try to do all that stuff. So
there you go.
Yeah. And I carry these guys' bags. That's really what my relationship. I carry their bags, so that's
right.
how it goes.
Don't forget a good dog, AJ.
Oh yeah, well he's
having a good dog next to you.
He was over here messing around, then he was over here but he's sleeping now. So
mine's pounding at the door.
My 12-year-old lab, who's mad at me, by the way, because this is the first time in his life we didn't make opening day dove season.
Oh,
it was yesterday, but we're going to get out there this week and try and get some doves, get them ready for pheasants, and we got another season together, and it's just good for my soul to be out there with him and let him do his thing. So.
Good dog makes a big difference.
It does.
Well, our time is about up. Tony, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. A powerful conversation. It was inspiring, and thank you for what you're doing. I think you've created something that's pretty special. AJ and I, through this entire podcast that we've been doing this, we have tried to stay true and only talk about the stuff that we think has value, the stuff that focuses on, the priorities that we hold really dear and protecting those that can't protect themselves. And you're doing that with this, and you surrounded yourself with people that have that same philosophy. So much appreciated and honored to have you here with us today.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. And Mike and AJ, it was great breaking bread with you. And John, I appreciate this very much. And, I did talk about something that's very sensitive to me. And thank you for giving me that opportunity and that audience. And that is the death of the passing of my wife. But, suicide is so unique, and mental illness is so unique. And that's why, one doesn't fit all. And in our ValorNet app, it's customizable. It addresses each person individually. And we're striving to make that difference. And John, I just appreciated, AJ, all your devotion, all your dedication, Mike, everything you all are doing. And, together we can make a difference. And whether it be little or small, we're making a difference. So onward and upward. And thank you again for your time this morning. I appreciate it. And I really look forward to getting together soon and having another wonderful dinner in a moment together. So thank you.
We'll look forward to it, Tony. Have a great day. And
hey, just really quick, and I always forget I have a landline. I don't even know how to turn that thing off, so I apologize for that thing getting off, right? But Tony, I just want to thank you. You did something, and it meant a lot to me, and I felt bad I missed out on the opportunity. But shortly after we met in St. Louis, you called me. And I appreciated that. I was sad I couldn't take the call. I was just getting on a plane. I was flying back from Vegas, right? But just that reaching out, it meant the world to me. And I know we texted back and forth just a little bit, but thank you for that. And
listen, brother, I appreciated you being there. And one thing that when you're touched by the tragedy that I have been, you appreciate people. And you take those moments, and even though you didn't answer or what have you, just knowing that you would hear it, you were on the other line, that was complete for me. So appreciate you mentioning it now, but there was never a doubt in my mind. So appreciate that, and we're together.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
AJ, you want to take us out? Sure.
So, Tony, we close out every one of our podcasts with a toast. I think we actually did this toast when we were in St. Louis, but we're going to do it again. And it's too early in the morning for me to have any alcohol, but I do have my black coffee here, which I am still enjoying.
I got my water.
But this, and I'm sorry if I shared this with you before, but this quote goes all the way back to the Roman legions. And of course, it was in Latin. You can find it in a couple different Latin variations, and then it's been translated into English, and we just always find it appropriate to close out the podcast with this. And so here is the toast.
Yeah.
To us and those like us, the Centurions, damn few left.
Damn few left.
Damn few left.
Beautiful.
So behold the